fluting, which lets me be live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Very good. So hello, everyone out there in social media land. This day brief, I'm live along with my social media staff, Sneha, who is my EA, executive assistant, and Sakshi, who is my social media manager. They won't be on screen with me, but they're watching with their beady eyes, making sure I do good. I need their supervision. I'm down here is the Instagram camera. Over here is the other cameras for those three other platforms. I'm going to be brief, okay? So we've had delays in launching Perficio, which is an app that's going to totally revolutionize self-help. Basically, it's going to make it work. We love self-help for those who do, but you haven't gotten what you wanted or expected out of it, because that's the nature of being a human, right? We have all these human issues in the way, right? Let's just call it distraction, right? Well, Perficio solves the problem of distraction, and it keeps you focused. It keeps you, if not focused, it doesn't let you give up on the things that you really want in the most intuitive way that is effective. That, in other words, it'll back up when it needs to back up. It'll come forward when it needs to go forward, and it'll get you to accomplish your goals that you developed while learning a home study course, any home study course. In this case, the one we're talking about is our premier course, which is a financial course, a wealth course written by none other than Benjamin Franklin. I need someone with great credibility. No one's got more credibility than Benjamin Franklin. And his book, The Way to Wealth, is still in print today because it's as applicable as ever. Those principles in there, and we isolated and articulated, I think, 54. And I co-created that course with a Ben Franklin aficionado. So we really studied this course to make it, distill it and make it applicable to the modern audience, you. And that's what we did. But we stayed true to it, and we divided it into lessons, 10 lessons, and the principles contained in each lesson. So I'll have links up here where you can check out what the specifics are of the course. But I can tell you that regarding, it doesn't get into technical stuff. There's different altitudes of by the way, Sneha and Sakshi, let me know if there are any questions that I need to answer. There are different altitudes of looking at something. Just say high altitude, mid altitude, low altitude, right? Granularity. It's sometimes called. The Way to Wealth is basically a high altitude and mid altitude learning of principles. It doesn't get down into the specifics on investing, for example, it doesn't get down into that kind of nitty gritty. Sometimes it does, but it'll give you. One of the things, for example, that Benjamin Franklin will teach you is not to go into debt. And you will say, "Oh, wait a second, I'm already in debt," or "No, that's an option." You got to consider that. Yes, and for business, it is certainly a very viable consideration, maybe necessary. But for personal, Benjamin Franklin makes the case that you should avoid it at all costs. You should do anything you can than be in debt. And he explains why, and then you go through exercises of what, and you'll come to learn why you should not be in debt, why you should avoid taking a loan at any cost. Because I'm not going to get into the why. Let Benjamin Franklin do that. But it's a terrible servitude, right? So, and if you learn that from Benjamin Franklin, and with Perficio, you will learn that, because all the answers are in you, not in Benjamin Franklin, not in me, not in the co-creator, Barry, who helped me create the course. You have all the answers within you, but they have to be brought forth out of you. And you will learn that the last thing you want to do is have a personal debt. I'm talking about finances here, right? Business, it's an option, but personal, you don't want to do that. Now, there's different ways. There's different things today, with financing. Okay, that's true. But debt is debt, and you want to avoid it because it is a servitude. It is a kind of slavery, actually. And you don't want to be a slave. Do not be a slave. All right. If you can think of it in those stock terms, do not be a slave. Then right there, you can get a notion of why you should avoid debt, because you are a slave. You are a slave to your debtor. Well, I mean, not your debtor, to the lender. You are the debtor, but you are a slave to the lender, and that lender has a lot of rights over you because of that relationship. And that's just an example, and that's one of 54. So you will learn all the things, and you can. And I have the it's not on Instagram right now, but I'll post the link, or maybe Sakshi will, for the page at Perficio's website, which is at perficio.io, where we articulate the principles, the lessons, the principles. I call them principles. The course is divided into 10 lessons, just to divide it that way, and we just stay true to Franklin. And each lesson has, like, say, 10 principles. Right? We just deciphered, Franklin's old English into, modern American, and saw what these lessons are, and we stay true to them. We didn't alter. We had Benjamin Franklin speak in his language, and then we have him speak in modern English, and then and saying what these lessons are, these principles are, because again, the lessons are just a division of the course, and that's one principle. All right, which is to avoid debt. I think he gets into some facets of it too, but that's an example. And if you going forward, just sticking with that example of debt, going forward, if you took this course and learned that principle, and you certainly would, along with all the rest, like the 50 others say, right? Going forward, if you avoided debt, it'll be worth it. Right? Of course, there's pros and cons to everything. Absolutely. One of my favorite sayings that I coined myself is that there's pros and cons to everything, even your own firing squad. And you could be like, oh my God, firing squad, I don't want to be killed. Are you crazy, Tony? Well, it's quick. There are a lot of terrible ways to die, and quick is one of the better ways. And there's a lot of slow ways to die. You want to avoid that, as an example. People don't want to think that deeply a lot, but thinking that deeply has a great payoff. But similarly, you want to avoid that because one of the things that Franklin, I'm going to touch on this because I guess this is the place for it. One of the things that Franklin says about debt is that when you go into debt, then you compromise your values, right? Which you're like, oh my God, no, I don't compromise my values about nothing, Tony. I always got my values right up there. Yeah, right. Sure you do. When you compromise your values because you're desperate to be penalized in a way that the lender has a right to penalize you. All right, so you'll do anything to avoid that situation, right? So you want to make sure you pay your debt, right? You pay whatever the monthly payments are, or whatever the terms of the loan are. Not just that, you don't want people to know that you're in debt because that's pretty indicating in itself, right? Like, oh, I don't want people to know that I'm in debt and that I owe a bunch of money, because that you may think that they think that you're less successful, right? That you weren't able to do something with your own financial assets, and you had to borrow them to do something, right? So now you don't want people to know the truth. Not that it's their business, but nonetheless, deception is, you want to not let people know the truth, right? So not that you're deceiving people, but you're hiding it by a matter of policy. All right, not that you have this declared policy. I will not let anyone know I'm in debt. But just like it's like a subconscious, if not a conscious thing, that you're not going to let anyone know you're debt. And if it comes up in some conversation, you don't let them know, because you don't want them to know. You don't want them to know. You don't want them to know that you're in debt. And because it's not just that you think that You see, humans, we're psychological phenomena, right? We have all these complexities of thinking, right? And things that we are aware of, which is our conscious mind, and the things that we're not aware of, which is our subconscious mind, is far, far deeper than the conscious part. Much more going on there than the conscious part. And because when people know that we're in debt, they may lose confidence in us. They may lose respect for us. And then what would happen then? What would happen if people lost confidence in you because they knew you were in debt? What if they lost respect for you because they knew you were in debt? What would you do? You see, and all this stuff affects how you think and how you behave. All right. All because you went into debt. And it's not an uncommon thing. It's pretty standard. But just, you know what? Just because everybody is doing it doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's good. And this is a perfect example. I mean, I don't mind sharing this with you. I don't have any personal. I had a lot of debt. I learned years ago. I paid it off like 25 years ago. I had all this credit card debt, like $35,000. Paid it off, and I haven't been in debt since then. My policy has been, if I don't have it, I don't buy it. Now I will say though, just as I said in the beginning, I do have business debt, right? I do owe money with my business, Auxilium, which created Perficio, right? Which is the world's first self-help coach. We're going to launch. Oh, by the way, launching that. Another technological delay. So we were going to launch in February. There are a number of delays happened that month, 3 or 4. You got to understand, Perficio is an unprecedented revolutionary app. Nothing like it has ever existed before. So it's very difficult in getting it right. I'm not going to release a product that's not going to impress people. I'm not going to, or at the very least, my basic standard is this: I'm not going to release a product that people are going to want a refund for. I'm only going to release a product that they're very happy with. And I've been at this over 8 years, right? Well, in total, Auxilium 4.5. So just say 4.5 years to release this, to create and release this product. I'm not going to run out of patience now. I'm going to release a product that's going to be awesome. So we have these are just technological challenges, making everything work exactly right altogether, right? This is intricate, this is complex, this is a great precision has to work together in order for you to learn everything that Franklin has to teach you, like avoiding debt. Okay. And that's what we're doing. So it's going to launch now, right now, what is it? It is March 24th. I was hoping after the latest meeting with the tech people, which was last week, that I had a funeral this week, so I wasn't very connected with my teams. I've got a tech team, I've got a product team, I got a tech developers, I've got a marketing team, so I got to coordinate with all these people. That this delay, which is working with Apple, is going to take another 4 to 6 weeks to get this thing right. And we still, and the number of things are happening in the meanwhile, which includes getting Android ready. Our Apple iOS has been beta tested like crazy. It's ready to go. But we still have to make this change on the Apple side with their App Store. So incredibly, Android might even be ready before the Apple, even though we haven't even begun the beta testing now on Android, but that's happening now, and we've had at least three beta tests for Apple. But this is, I don't even know this stuff. I'm a coach, an entrepreneur. This tech stuff is like, but it's not going. So even though, we have this change period, and then we're gonna have to test again. So in all likelihood, it's probably, quite frankly, not going to launch to the beginning of June. And that's how it goes. Patience is a critical thing. A patient man can have anything. An impatient man can have nothing. So I will continue to be patient. And I ask you to as well. By the way, so if you're at all interested in personal development or your finances and creating wealth, please subscribe to the newsletter at the website, perficio.io. That's .io, not .com. and subscribe to the newsletter there, and you'll be informed of the launch. And there's all sorts of great discounts available that's coming. That's going to make it so enticing that you won't be able to say no, because it's total. First of all, it's total money back guarantee, right? And the benefits are just huge. So I take away the risk, right? Money back guarantee. I show you the benefits. You can't lose. If self-help worked, I would have been a millionaire a long time ago. Well, I'm living hand to mouth. And so it doesn't work, because a person needs a little bit more. And that little bit more is Perficio. I worked out this many years along with a big tech team to get this thing to work so that you would not fail. I created this so that a person would not fail any longer. And this is not life coaching, though I was a life coach. A life coach will help a person pursue any goal. I was that. I've created the world's first self-help coach, which is an app, an automation. It's a robot, if you will, that helps you pursue any goal related to the self-help course that you just completed. Well, it helps you learn and complete that course, and then you develop goals, and helps you refine them related to the principles of that course, and then pursue them. For example, say you took a course on psychology, all right? And then while you were taking this course in psychology, you said, you know what? I want to be a psychologist. Well, then Perficio would help you become a psychologist. It's that simple. And this is going to be guaranteed, because it never quits on you. It's an automation. It's a computer program, and it never quits on you in the most intuitive way. And it knows the right thing to say to you at the right time. So it'll help you become that psychologist that you wanted to become as a result of learning that psychology course. Or in this case, the way to wealth, it will help you live and apply all the principles that Ben Franklin teaches you, such as not going into debt. All right, because that would be a mistake. Well, maybe you think it wouldn't be a mistake, but in the terms of financial principles and wealth principles, it is a mistake. It's a mistake, and at least as Ben Franklin says it. And who am I to dispute Ben Franklin? Who are you to dispute Ben Franklin? Now, we can have our own opinions, but the proof is always in the pudding, right? Okay, so you can go to the webpage at perficio.io to see where all the principles that you will learn, and you will learn them, because that's what Perficio does. It guarantees you learn them. It doesn't let you proceed just getting by. It doesn't work that way. That's no good for anybody. It gets you to learn, it gets you to apply, because that's the real value. And once you do that, then it helps you, once you decide and refine what your goals are, it helps you to go after them after the course. That's called stay the course, which is a secondary part. So that's, there are two elements: the home study course, right, where Perficio makes sure that you start, right? This is a thing a lot of people don't do, and make sure that you learn and apply. A lot of people don't do this. And then it gets you to complete. A lot of people don't do that, right? And it gets you to do it solves those three problems with the home study course. But then there's the fourth, and then the home studies course is done. Great. But then that now is the time that is most important. And that's the application of what you learned towards your significant, your well thought out goals. This is by far the most important things, because if you didn't learn something just to know it, that's useless. That's a waste of time. Knowledge is not power. That's a great misconception. Only applied knowledge is power. They butchered that saying, that knowledge is power. They dropped the applied part, which is the critical part. Only applied knowledge is power. Otherwise, it's useless information. So you want to apply what you've learned, and this is the critical thing, because you decide what you want to do with that knowledge and how you want to apply it so that you can get your goal, right? And of course, you will refine your plan along the way, because that's the way it works. But it gets you to keep going at it, and that's what we need, because we get so distracted. We get into negative states. We get negative. All life gets in the way. All the pressures of life. The things vying for your attention, distraction. Well, Perficio is literally designed to get you through all that in a way that works for you, right? And you may need to go on a vacation. Okay, go on vacation. Tell Perficio, go on a vacation. Talk to me in 30 days. 30 days later, Perficio come back on. You ready to get back to work? It knows you, and it has to in order to be effective, because template stuff, boilerplate stuff will not work. It has to be customized to the individual, otherwise it would not work. You are an individual, and you need to be treated as an individual, because the very nature of your individuality is who you are and how you are. And if a professional does not deal with you and things that are sensitive to those nuances and subtleties, and just call them, like, 10,000 foot altitude, those values, right? People don't deal with you according to your values, or then go deeper to your eccentricities, your particularities, what you want, what you don't want, then things aren't going to work for you. All right. And that's what Perficio does. Okay. So please, I invite you to subscribe to the newsletter at perficio.io, and check out some of the pages there, specifically what you learn at the Way to Wealth and other things about Perficio. Thanks a lot. Please, if you got any questions, you can message me or my team, or make a comment right here, and we'll get back to you. Okay. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Be well, everyone. See you at Perficio. Make sure you sign up. And so, even if you're not sold yet, which is fine, sign up so you at least know about the launch, and you'll see the offers that we make are going to be very interesting. Thanks a lot. Take care. All right. Let me end this Instagram. All right. And now I will end the